much damage to the Archmage as possible, because he's free focus fire if he loses his town portal. And even if he doesn't lose it, you can at least force support during the tower push. And for you human players, potions, potions of invulnerability, potions of greater healing. You should be checking the inventory in the Blade Master, and if you see plus 18 in the claws, you should be worried. Anyways, game 2. Get that loaded up, please. This game takes place on Secret Valley, which is an orc map, mainly. It has 2 healing fountains, which usually make a orc map, because grunts have so much health, they don't really easily die at them. But orc versus human on this map, it's really not most orcs' favorite map for it. I mean, if you have to choose between this and, say, Tyrannistan, sure. But it's a close spawn. There's only 2 spawns, and it's a very short distance, typically, between the 2 bases. And tower rushes are on this map. It's not like Knollwood, where just because of the map size, you can be pretty much safe from a tower push. Tower rushes happen on this map a lot. Witness Grubby losing to a lot of different players at G 2007. Tower pushes on this map. So get it paused. The 1 minute mark, 1x speed, Fog of War off on Noff's point of view. This is Noff versus Xylogan. A little disclaimer, Xylogan was apparently drunk during this match, or tipsy or something. But I still think he plays pretty well. Not his best, I'm sure, but anyways, it doesn't make the game invalid. So get the game. Oh, we'll talk a bit about Secret Valley. The great thing about it is there's free healing for the orc. It's for both players, but because the orc can windwalk and wake up the creeps and run, it's really orc healing. It's just like Lost Temple. You don't human taking your healing fountains. There's 2 shops, so the rush for the Boots of Speed isn't really as important as it is on Echo Isles. No marketplace, so you can't really abuse claws like Grubby did in the last game, which is whatever, that's unfortunate, but not a huge deal, since I think Echo Isle is probably the only solo map with a marketplace. Yeah, the expansions are midway in both bases, so you really don't have to worry about a human tier 2 expansion so much with towers, which they sometimes do. And there's a tab central to the map, which actually does mean that they can Fire Lord Tower Rush, and it's pretty popular on this map because they know you're going Blade Master, which is weaker against the Fire Tower Rush. Anyway, Noff's point of view, 1 minute mark, Fog of War off. Let's get the game unpaused in 3, 2, 1, unpause. Again, this is going to be a standard build from Noff. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. 2 burrows, tech. After 2 grunts, he sends the scout peon. Really important. Sometimes you'll see pros not do it, but that's not because it's a bad idea. It's because they have a pretty good sense of how their opponent's going to play. They've played him enough before, or whatever. But if you're playing League versus someone you don't really know, and especially if it's on ladder, you need to send that scout peon to figure out what the human's doing, what his base looks like, if there's multiple openings, etc. From Xylogan's point of view, again, no early lumber mill. Part of the reason he's doing that is because he wants enough footmen to fast creep the Null Overseer camp. That drops a pretty good item, and it gives him enough experience to get level 2 if he gets that camp, plus the green Null Brute Null camp next to it. So remember, the human's goal early on is the fast level 2, fast Brilliance aura. So most of their creeping patterns are designed to do that. Noff, knowing this, heads there right away. And one trick, notice right now, his 2 minutes 11, his peon is blocking the militia and the footman. It's a really good peon block on his part. And it slows Xylogan down a lot. And also, worse for Xylogan, the creep's already done 100 damage, more or less, to his Archmage. So, Noff comes in, he misses the Overseer, which is unfortunate, because he's not going to get the item, which is a good Blade Master item. But he walks in just in time to get the first Assassin creep, which is worth 48 experience to him, and then, again, gets the second one and the Manual of Health, I think it is. And he's surrounded, and personally I think he should have burned a little earlier there so that he wouldn't have as much damage. But he doesn't, he breaks his front. He's hurt now, so he's going to be able to harass the human creeping as well, which is actually good for the human. But with Secret Valley, he can pretty quickly head to this healing fountain up here and heal. Notice also the grunt, he got an extra peasant kill with it, but also to keep an eye on the human, as Grubby was doing in the last game. You don't ever want to lose sight of the human in his creeping, because at any given time he could call militia and creep the map. Pretty much any creep camp, right? He could creep right now with militia. But he's still not level 2 because Noff got the 2 kills on the assassins, which is really huge for Noff. Remember, the longer you can keep the human at level 1, the better you're doing. He buys the Boots of Speed. Unfortunately, see, Noff's Blade Master has been out of action because he took so much damage. And it was probably worth it for him because of the experience denial and because he can still keep tabs on the Archmage. But ideally, you don't want to be taking that much damage on your Blade Master. And a lot of human players actually will build voodoo lounges outside of their base, closer to the human, so that they can heal on the go. Obviously, on this map, you don't really need to do that, but it's helpful. Anyways, Zyligan sends some of his footmen to the fountain, I think, to heal, whereas he sends his Archmage to the other fountain also to heal, briefly. And then his priority, remember, is getting level 2. And the grunts are at the fountain, and Zyligan knows he has to run because it's 700 HP grunts, I guess, right now, because they don't have the upgrade. They're not die very easily on the fountain. Even if you wake up the creeps, actually, you can creep that fountain with 4 grunts, which Noff starts to do. As he's doing that, he chases down the footman. Why does he do that? And die really quickly and really easily to a Blade Master with Boots of Speed. He wakes up the creeps because he knows that there's a trapper on this camp and he's hoping for a free ensnare. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen, but that's why he did that. It wasn't an accident. So this is, again, that's a pretty professional move. You wouldn't see at a lot of levels of play. So while he's hunting down this footman, which he does get the kill, Zyligan takes this opportunity to get level 2, which he really needs. But it took him 5 minutes. And that's one of the great things about Secret Valley. Noff had a pretty good start with Yon Block, but it is actually than other maps for the human to creep. And for example, what he's creeping now, there's poison damage on these, so his footmen are going to take a beating. Anyways, I don't really understand what his Blade Master is doing right now, attacking the up. But he does force some repair, which gets him another peon kill. If he'd seen the Arcane Sanctum going up, he could do some damage to that, but he chooses not to. Or he doesn't see it. Going back to Noff's base, you're going to see an interesting build, 2 Bestiaries going up. And Zyligan, unfortunately for Noff, is able to force a cancel on 1. But it does mean that Noff's not going to have walkers a long period of time. And at all. For the human, when he sees 2 Bestiaries, his first concern is probably Wyvern, or Wind Riders now. A lot of orcs, because of the strength of the tier 2 tower push, opt to go early Wyvern, which counters the tier 2 tower push really well, and then add Spirit Walk later on. Zyligan, Noff, on the other hand, you'll see he's researching Ensnare. He's building Raiders, which is... I'm not going to say that this is what you should do versus human, because it's not necessarily what you should do versus human, but it is an option, and it's risky, but if your timing's good, if you've had a good early game, as Noff has had, then go for it. You'll notice instead of creeping when a Shadow Hunter comes out, which orc players will often do for Healing Wave, he goes straight to Zyligan's base, and he knows, because of his Blade Master harass, he's delayed the second Sanctum, and he almost succeeds in knocking it down, or at least severely delaying it going up, but Zyligan intelligently sends some peasants to it to finish its construction, so now it's locked, it has fortified armor. So that's unfortunate for Noff, but anyways, he does get another peasant kill. He doesn't get a peasant kill, sorry, but he's definitely with a lot of Zyligan's resources. Does he get this sorceress kill? Doesn't get the sorceress kill either. But again, he's been aggressive. Unfortunately, while he's doing this, you'll notice Archmage is creeping level 3. I said how bad that is for your tier 2 tower push. It is really bad because walkers don't really help so much level 2 water elementals. However, he's not going walkers, he's going raiders, and that's going to change Noff's playstyle entirely. It's going to change his timing, it's going to change how aggressive he can be. He gets an earlier ensnare because he's gone 2 Bestiaries, which gives him much earlier map control. Think about verse Undead. The second you get ensnare versus Fiends, he can't really fight you. He needs Destroyers, or he needs a lot of Fiends and statues. That's when the orc expands versus Undead. Sort of the same principle here. He's got 3 raiders, each of them with ensnare, and he has Hex. So if he runs into this human, yeah, he'll get some stuff slowed, but notice he has a speed scroll. He has Hex so he can stop Stormbolt, pick up the Stormbolt timing. His Blade Master's level 3, so he's looking for the creeping. He buys a Scroll of Healing. That's kind of standard to do to keep your units alive, to spread out the damage. He sees the human creep, 47 food versus 37 food. So the first thing he does, ensnare all the